Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start a playthrough of Gaia Project. Yeah, this is about as heavy of a Euro as I'll ever play on this channel. Okay, because you guys know me, I'm not really a big Euro player, but man, this game is wonderful solo. So I'm really excited to show you. This will be a solo only game, and I will say I'm going to be playing at the basic level. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to show you how, if you're playing your first game, how to set up the game and then how to play. In this video here, we'll go ahead and do the setup, and then from there, if you want, it'd be kind of fun if you want to set up your own board the same way and your own research tiles, etc., and play through it yourself, and then we can compare and see how we did. Let's get going. The first thing you'll want to do is pick out which faction you want to play with. I am using the Hadash Halas, as that is what's suggested for your first solo play. Up top here, we have all of our different resources. So we have gold, we have some research, and we have some ore. So our gold is technically at 15. There's two trackers here because the max amount of gold you can have is 30. The max amount of ore you can have is 15, and research is 15. You also have your power here. You're going to start with 4 power on top and 2 power on the bottom, and it's denoted right on the faction mat, which is really cool. And each one might be a little bit different. And that goes with these starting values. The starting values may be different as well. If you know Terra Mystica at all, you'll know that a lot of the game is about upgrading. You can be upgrading your buildings. So we've got our mines down here, which we start off with 2 on the board, and I'll show you where I place those. Then we've got our trading posts here, and you know that they're trading posts because of this 3/6 here. If you're within range 2 of an opponent, you actually can build these at a discount of 3 coins. So that's kind of nice. We have over here our research labs, and then up here we have our 2 academies. Finally, we also have our Planetary Institute here, which I'm going to try and get out as soon as I can because then we gain this bonus each round. Now you'll see this in the playthrough, but just so you understand, the mines can be upgraded to our trading stations. Our trading stations then can potentially be upgraded to research labs, or they can be upgraded to our 1 Planetary Institute. And then, of course, our research labs here can be upgraded into our academies. Pretty cool. Each one will give us different benefits. Whenever we move them, we'll get different positive benefits for us. Maybe it's income, something like that. And each faction, it will be different. Also, for each faction, we have a different terraforming cost per type of planet. So the one planet you don't see here is our red planet because it's free to terraform. We're very comfortable essentially making those types of planets our planets. But if we try to make this black planet ours, we'd have to pay 3 terraforming in order to do so. So you'll see me referencing this a lot during the playthrough. Also, over here, we've got a bunch of free actions that we can use. We can use power to gain different items. Yeah, just showing you that. You'll also want to place your 3 Gaia formers off the board. You can potentially earn them and then place them here if you would like. And then we have our special ability. So we start at 1 step up one of the research tracks. This is considered the economy track, and that's because we're really good traders. We also get to start with a quantum intelligent cube, or QIC. We'll place that here, and we can use that to increase range. We can use that to help us Gaia form on a Gaia planet. Lots of fun stuff. So these QICs are very important. After we've set up our board, then we want to set up the AI. So the AI in your first game should be the Teclons, okay? This is going to be their special ability card. If ever you draw an AI card that has this symbol, you're going to look here to see what actions they're going to do. They also might have an ongoing special ability. The Teclons don't. Nice and simple. Also, there's this really cool terraforming card that they show the terraforming costs for the AI. Now, the AI is never going to have to pay that, but a lot of times that's going to be a tiebreaker. So we're going to go ahead and block all of these ones except for the one that we need for the Teclons. We also have in this pile of cards the 6 starting cards for the AI. You know that they're the starting ones because they've got a green number down here at the bottom of the card. You're going to start with all 6 if you're playing in the normal mode. If you want to play with the easy mode, you can go ahead and take out card number 2. It just means that they have some less actions. There it is. They'll have less actions and may pass sooner, so it'll be easier to defeat them. We then have all the remaining AI cards in this pile here, okay? And what you do before you start, I've already shuffled it up. You take the top card, put it in with here and with your other 6 starting ones, shuffle them up like so they're nice and messed up. You grab the bottom 3 cards, which I'll say are these 3, turn them sideways, place the rest of them like so. The reason that's important is when you get to the bottom 3 cards, if you draw a card that has a certain symbol on it, it's going to mean the AI is going to pass. But you never know. You might draw one that doesn't have that symbol and they continue to do actions. At the end of each round, we will be grabbing one of these cards and putting it into this deck. So essentially, they're going to gain more abilities as the game plays, just kind of like a regular player. One final thing, sometimes an AI will have something up here that will denote, hey, they start 1 step up on one of the tracks on the technology board, but the Taclons don't, so I don't have to worry about that. I also need to grab all of their buildings as well because they will be placing buildings out on the board. We'll see cards that do that, and I'll show you how that happens, but just make sure to grab all the tokens, or I should say buildings, and be ready to use them. Now that we have set up the AI deck, we're going to go ahead and each start at 10 victory points. If you want to play on easy, you go ahead and put them actually down to 0. I'm going to keep them at normal, make this a good challenge, and we each start at 10 victory points. Here we have the technology board. I love technology boards. So as you can see on the economy one, we are 1 step up because that's our starting ability. None of the AI's tracks are up by 1. They're all down at 0. Now, the AI doesn't gain anything when they move up these tracks like we do, but they will gain victory points like we do if they're in spots 3, 4, or 5 at the end of the game in any of these tracks. They'll gain 4 victory points per spot. So if they were at this spot, they'll gain 8 victory points at the end of the game. If they're at this spot, they'd gain 12 victory points. Now you can see between the 4 and 5 spots of the technology tracks, there is an advanced action tile. I have randomly picked those out, just shuffled them up, put them there, and you can gain them if ever you're on spots 4 and 5 of the technology track, and you can gain a general action tile, and then instead of gaining a regular one, you can gain an advanced one. The only catch is that you have to have one of these Federation tokens to be able to flip to its gray side, which you can see denoted right there, and you have to have a basic action tile that you can place that on top of. And you'll see how all of that works in the playthrough. Also for setup, you go ahead and grab one random Federation tile and make sure to place it here on this track. Now at the bottom of the technology tracks, we do have the regular action tiles. Every time that you can gain one of these, you can choose any of these to pick. You can never have more than one of the same one, though. So I can't take 2 of these gain for gold. Every time you grab one of these tiles, you move yourself up 1 space up that track. However, if you go ahead and take one of these bottom 3, you can choose any of the technology tracks to move 1 space up. Conversely, in order to move yourself up the technology track, you have to spend 4 research, which are these blue symbols. It's that blue resource I showed you earlier. Also on the board, you see down here we have special actions. Those are, anybody can use them once per round. When they're used, we cover them up like so. You use power to activate them, and they give you certain abilities. Over here, it's the same thing. It's just using the QICs instead. And I'm not going to go through each one of these. You'll see most of them during the playthrough. Each round, we get to choose a round booster, but so does the AI. At the beginning, the AI will randomly take 1 card, and we'll see which one they're going to take. So we look down here. They're going to take the farthest left one, okay? So they're going to take this one, and then we can choose which one we would like. Given that my character is all about money, and it's hard to get terraforming because terraforming is expensive, I think I might grab this round booster. If you think I should pick a different one, let me know, and I might change my mind depending on what you guys say, because I know a lot of you have probably played this a lot more than I have. Here we have the Federation tokens. Normally there are 3 of each of these, but when you play solo, you take 1 of each of them away. What you do is you'll take 1 of each away, then you shuffle them all up and you randomly pick the one that goes on the top of that terraforming track. Then the rest of these are available to us if ever we make a Federation. Two more items that we need to talk about, and then we are ready to play. So here we have our scoring board. There are overall objectives that you want for the entire game, and if you win that objective, you get the most, you go the farthest on the track, you'll gain 18 victory points. Second most is 12, third most is 6. We have two different goals that we're trying to make. This end goal is that the player that has the most buildings in a federation will gain the most victory points from that. So for the AI, since they don't build federations, all we do is we take the total amount of buildings that are on the board for the AI, subtract 1 from it, and that is what their federation number will be. And then for us, we actually have to count all the buildings in our federations. They're hard to make. I'll for sure be making at least 1, hopefully 2, if I'm lucky, 3. We'll see. This scoring tile states that the player that has the most variation of planets that they have buildings on, so there's 8 different planets. If I can get my buildings on 8 different planets, I can win this objective. Or at least tie it if the AI gets to 8 as well, because the most you can get to is 8. And something that I do to help me track that, I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not, but on this scoring board, they have a picture of each of the planets. And so what I've done is I've just placed one of the little tokens for the AI and one for us, showing the different planets we already have a building on. So because right now we each have 1 on a building. And when I say 1 on a building, I meant 1 on a planet. So this is the starting planets for the AI, and ours are these red planets. Now you will see there is a purple marker that I have in each of these spots as well, and they're considered a neutral player. They don't score, but it makes it so that we can't win this by just having 1 variation, or just having 1 building in a federation. The neutral player will count as a player when determining your score, and that even is the case for 2-player. And how you know this is on the side of these these objective tokens, they have a number on the right, and that tells you where to put the neutral player. So it's 10 here and 5 for this objective. And you can see right now, we each have 1 of the different types of planets, ours, so we're tied at 1. And the AI is going to have 2 buildings out at the beginning of the game, so he's going to go ahead and start at 1 on this track as well. For us, we won't move up this for a while until we actually build a federation. So we know what our overall objective is for the game. We've got those 2 goals. Each one's worth 18 points. Heck, if we could get both, that's 36 points. That's pretty good. But each round, we also have ways to score points. So we have these scoring tiles that I have randomly placed on the board. Each one will give us points based on if we do those actions during that round. So in the first round, if we're able to place one of the Planetary Institutes or one of our academies, we score 5 points. Heck, if we could do both in that round, we could score 10 points for that. That would be sweet. Now, the AI never goes for these. What they do is instead looks on the first 1, 2, and 3 rounds, looks on the left side, and they score that many victory points. So here, it would be 0. But in rounds 4, 5, and 6, they look on the right side, and you can see here, 6, 6, and 5. So yeah, in the later rounds, they're going to score a lot of points from the scoring tiles, and they just automatically get that. And just so you know what each one does, this one, 5 points for each one of those, either the academies or the Planetary Institute we place on the board. This one is mines on a Gaia planet, so every time we put a mine on a Gaia planet, we get 3 points. This one, we get 2 points for every step that we go on the research tracks. This one, we get 4 points for every trading post that we put on the board during that round. This one here, for every terraforming that we generate to be able to place mines on the board itself, 2 points. And finally here, for every Federation token that we gain 5 victory points. Last but not least, let's go ahead and look at this board. Doesn't this look awesome? I just really want to play this game just looking at it. Normally, when you play this solo, you're going to randomly draw tiles and generate the board itself. However, when it's one of your first times playing, you can use the basic setup that you find in the basic rules. This also means you can place your mines in the regular or the starting locations that they suggest there. You can also instead choose where your starting locations are. But what I did is I'm going to go with what they suggest in the base game. So I have 2 mines, and they're always going to be on your planets. You can tell it's your planet because, hey, I'm red, so I'm probably going to have the red planet as the one that I'm the most comfortable being on. For the AI then, you find 2 of their planets that are closest to the center of the map. So we have one down here and one way up there, because honestly there isn't a ton of brown planets in this area. So I just counted off spaces. Those are the 2 closest. So there you have it. That is how you set up the game for solo play. I hope you guys are excited. Any suggestions that you have, I'm all ears to hear it. I'm hoping to do this maybe in either 1 or 2 videos. Haven't decided if I'll just push through, because sometimes it's easier with strategies to just go all the way through, and if I make mistakes, I'll just make some notes. Or maybe do half of it, the first 3 rounds in the first video, and the second 3 rounds in the second video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you at the next stop.